Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. Today we're delighted to be speaking to Luca Bendoni, who works for Gianluca Di Marzio over in Milan. Luca, thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're a very, very busy man, so I appreciate your time. How are things over there in Italy?
Things are great. Great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. And yesterday was a busy day for Watford. I reported three news about Watford, so I'm ready to discuss them.
Fantastic stuff. And we'll start straight away with Egil Selvik, the Norwegian goalkeeper who signed for Udinese this month. You said yesterday that a move to Watford on loan was a concrete possibility. Could you just give us a bit more insight into this move and if we're just waiting for the player to give their approval?
Yeah, exactly. It's a concrete possibility in the terms of they signed him for Udinese 2 weeks ago, basically, less than 3 weeks ago. He was a free agent, so it was a free transfer, and it would make really sense to send him to Watford now that Watford need a goalkeeper, and Udinese are finding a reliable goalkeeper in Razvan Sava that is currently playing as a GK after Okoye's injury. So it is a concrete possibility. The player has not approved the move yet. He's reflecting about it, but I think he will accept in the coming hours. And if this is the scenario, I will, of course, try to anticipate it and update about this case. But yeah, he's a reliable goalkeeper. He can bring experience. On, of course, free transfer, it would be a loan, the most classic of the January loans from one club to the other. So it would make sense, yeah.
And if that loan does go ahead, can you see in the future the potential for Selvik to join Watford on a permanent deal, or do you not think that will happen just yet?
So on the formula of the deal, to be honest, I wouldn't speak because it's the urgence is now to have a goalkeeper in Watford, and I cannot imagine the future development after this season. But of course, the scenario is for these 6 months that Watford need a keeper.
Okay, great stuff. Moving on to another story you reported yesterday, Luca. Lots of Watford news, which is great to see. Festi Ebisele looks like a player to watch in the transfer window. We all know he picked up an injury very recently in one of Watford's last championship fixtures. You reported interest from Galatasaray, and I think you said yesterday that in Istanbul, Başakşehir are the new favourites to secure Ebisele's signature. How advanced is that move looking from your perspective?
The move of Ebosele to Turkish league is very advanced, to be honest, and I think it's a matter of hours because clubs are already defining the last details about payment terms, etc. Pending the player approval again, but the player is willing to go, from my understanding. So it's something of details. But you never know, of course, in negotiation, in transfer market, especially in international transfers, English, Italian and Turkish leagues. There are three leagues in a deal because Udinese own the player. He's on loan at Watford and he's going to Turkey. So until it's signed, I will not say it's a done deal. But yeah, parties are close. If you tell me, are they close to the move? I would say yes. They already have an agreement in principle, basically. So defining last details with Istanbul Başakşehir, that's the club. Galatasaray had inquired in the past week. Now is not a subject of interest anymore for Galatasaray because they are still actively looking for the right back position. But Ebosele is not the main name. And for Istanbul Başakşehir, definitely he's the main name. And a deal in the region of 3-4 million with add-ons could be reached in the coming hours.
And you said with Festi Ebisele, his injury is maybe only 2 to 3 weeks and not longer.
Yeah. Exactly. It's 2-3 weeks injury. Even if reports, according to some reports, it appeared that it could have been something way longer, months, but it should take 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, fantastic stuff, Luca. Charlie Taylor is another one you reported yesterday, a left back from Premier League Southampton. You reported that Watford are interested but would require significant salary contributions. Sky Sports yesterday also indicated that Hull City have approached Southampton for this deal. Out of both clubs, who do you think is closer to securing Charlie Taylor's signature until the end of the season?
I would say, even checking with my colleagues at Sky UK, with Lyle, we have worked on this deal. On club side, the closer to get an agreement is Hull City. on player side, the closer, or at least the one the player would prefer, in my opinion, from my understanding, is Watford. So we will see, because the player has not approved a loan move to Hull City, even if the two clubs are very close to agreeing it. So if the player pushes to go to Hull City, it's virtually done. But at this moment, it's something that for a week hasn't been happening, and it's already a week that the clubs are close to the agreement. So I would say that Watford could hijack the move, could join the race strongly if there is still a possibility to do it in the last days. Because a very important thing that was told me by sources close to the club is that Watford will look for last days opportunities, maybe loans, maybe experienced players like this, like Charlie Taylor, that is a reliable left back for that kind of position, and for a top championship club as Watford. So if a loan is feasible and the player pushes in the right way for Watford, I think the deal can potentially be done in the last days of the market. So it's a possibility I would keep an eye on. But of course, Southampton are keen on getting a huge compensation on his salary, so a huge part of the salary covered by the club that takes him for these 6 months on loan.
And if Watford miss out on that deal, could you see us going in for a different player in that position, perhaps?
Yeah, definitely. They are looking for a left back. They are looking also in other positions. I know in forward position, but most as strikers, they're looking for a winger. I was said. So the name, for example, of Sheriff Ndiaye has been denied to me at this stage, but later on, I don't know. But at this stage, it was denied. Also, the name of Kelechi Iheanacho was at this stage again denied, and they're looking for some opportunities. But I wouldn't rule out that they go also for a striker if the right opportunity comes. But in this stage of the market, today, 29th of January, they are more keen on wingers than strikers, and they are looking for the left back position. I know they will have to sign 4 positions. One potentially is in the midfield, and then there is the goalkeeper, of course, with the name of Selvik being discussed.
Do you know any names or clubs that are rumoured with that winger, or is that all the information you have at the moment regarding
at the
that
moment,
position?
this is what I know, because I don't want to push out names that are not really concrete, just to make them saying, yeah, it's possible. It's not my style, to be honest. So that's the situation.
Switching the focus now to outgoings, Luca. Are you aware of any Watford players who could potentially leave the club during the January transfer window? Reports this morning saying that Ken Sema, our left back, has agreed a deal to join Paphos FC in Cyprus. We know that Georgi Shafatatse is a very talented player. He has interest from clubs all around Europe. Do you have any information about outgoings in this transfer window?
I think the Ken Sema rumor is reliable, but I haven't checked it yet. Although I think it's a reliable source, given the Swedish nationality, and the source is always on point, always spot on Swedish news. And then let's see for the other outgoings. But Watford are not, keen to move many players outside in January. They would like to keep them, the ones they have.
Okay, good to hear. And finally, on Udinese and Watford, if Selvik does join Watford on loan during the January transfer window, can you see any other movement between the two clubs, or do you think if Selvik joins, that will be the last of the movements between Udinese and Watford?
I wouldn't rule out other moves. I won't mention name at this stage, but I wouldn't rule out, because, if in the last day of the market, let's say 3rd of February, Watford have not signed some positions that they need, they can look in Udinese squad, because Udinese have a deep team this season, very deep, and they're also doing pretty well in Serie A with the new manager they brought in this summer from Poland, I think. And so, I wouldn't rule out, but don't make me mention names at this stage. I will update on my page. It's my name, Luca Bendoni, on X, on Instagram. You can follow me, whatever. So let's see how the market develops.
Great stuff. Luca, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate your time. And when you get the opportunity, make sure to get some sleep as well over there in Milan. So,
no, I'm getting it, to be honest. 6 hours, it's fair enough in January. Thank you.
All right, Luca, thank you so much. And we'll speak to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye. Thank you.